Beverly Hills, California. July 17th, 1953. A private mansion. 150 guests. Hollywood's most powerful and beautiful people drinking champagne under the stars. This wasn't a premiere, wasn't a charity event. This was where careers were made and destroyed in whispered conversations. And on this night, in front of 150 witnesses, Ava Gardner, the most beautiful woman in the world, was about to humiliate her ex-husband. Frank Sinatra. With one sentence. One cruel, calculated sentence designed to destroy him in front of everyone who mattered. But Frank didn't respond, didn't defend himself, didn't say a word. He just walked away, and what happened over the next 18 months proved something Hollywood would never forget. Frank Sinatra's silence was more devastating than his rage. This is the story they never put in the biographies. To understand what happened that night, you have to understand Frank and Ava. Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner weren't just married. They were obsessed. They met in 1949. Frank was still married to his first wife, Nancy. Ava was Hollywood's rising star, MGM's newest goddess. The affair was immediate, passionate, destructive. Frank left Nancy for Ava in 1951. The scandal was massive. The Catholic Church condemned him. His fans turned on him. Radio stations boycotted his records. But Frank didn't care. He was in love. They married in November 1951. Philadelphia, small ceremony. For 18 months, it was perfection and chaos. They fought, they made up. They fought again. Ava was independent. Didn't want to be Mrs. Sinatra. Wanted her own career, her own identity. Frank was possessive, jealous, traditional. He wanted a wife at home, not a star on location. By mid-1953, the marriage was collapsing. Ava was filming Knights of the Round Table in London. Frank was in Hollywood. Broke, desperate. His singing career was over. His voice had given out. No record label, no film contracts. He was calling Ava daily, begging her to come home. She kept saying no. In July 1953, Ava finally returned to Los Angeles, but not to reconcile. To make it official, they were done. July 17th, 1953. Howard Hughes's mansion in Beverly Hills. Hughes was throwing a private party. 150 guests, Hollywood elite, directors, producers, stars. The kind of party where you didn't get invited. You got selected. Frank wasn't invited, but Ava was. She arrived at 9 p.m. Stunning. Emerald green dress, hair perfect. Every man in the room watching. She was there with a date. Robert Walker, a young actor from MGM. Not serious, just public, a message. I've moved on. At 10:30 p.m., Frank arrived, uninvited. He'd heard Ava was there, couldn't stay away. He walked in through the garden entrance, found her near the pool, surrounded by people. Ava, can we talk? She turned, her face cold. Not here, Francis. Please, just 5 minutes. I said not here. Frank looked around. People were watching, listening. He lowered his voice. I need to talk to you, about us, about... There is no us, not anymore. Her voice was loud enough for people nearby to hear. Frank's jaw tightened. Ava, don't do this here. Do what? Tell the truth? That we're finished? Everyone already knows, Francis. You're the only one pretending otherwise. A small crowd had gathered, watching, waiting. This was entertainment. Frank tried to keep his composure. Can we at least talk privately? Why? So you can beg? So you can promise to change? I've heard it all before. Ava, please. She turned to Robert Walker, smiled, loud enough for everyone to hear. You know what the problem was? He could never satisfy a real woman. The pool area went silent. 150 people, frozen. Frank's face went pale. Ava continued. She was drunk, or angry, or both. Oh, Francis was charming. Great voice when he had one. But in every way that matters, inadequate. Someone gasped. Robert Walker looked uncomfortable. Ava, maybe we should. She ignored him. He was always too needy, too jealous, too small, in every sense of the word. Frank stood there, completely still. His face showed nothing. But something in his eyes, something dangerous, flickered for just a moment. Then it was gone. He looked at Ava. Didn't say a word. Just looked at her. For 5 seconds that felt like an hour. Then he turned and walked away, through the garden, out the gate. Gone. The party stayed silent for a full minute. Then people started whispering. Did she just... She destroyed him. In front of everyone. Ava grabbed another drink. Her hand was shaking. Frank drove home. His house in Palm Springs. Empty, quiet. He sat in the dark for 3 hours. Didn't call anyone. Didn't drink. Just sat, thinking. His manager called the next morning. Frank, I heard what happened at the party. Yeah. Are you okay? I'm fine. Do you want to respond? I can get you on a radio show, or we can release a statement. No. Frank, she humiliated you in front of everyone. You have to... I said no, but she's hurting. People say things when they hurt. I'm not going to make it worse. His manager was silent. You're a better man than me. No. I'm just someone who knows that responding would give her what she wants. Attention, drama, a fight. I'm not playing that game. So what are you going to do? Nothing, absolutely nothing. And he didn't. No statement, no interview, no public response. Silence. Ava woke up the next morning, hungover. Her publicist was already at her house. Ava, we need to talk. About what? About what you said last night. About Frank. Ava's face went pale. What did I say? Her publicist told her. Everything, word for word. Ava sat down. Oh, God. Yeah. How many people heard? About 150, including 3 gossip columnists. Hedda Hopper was there. Luella Parsons. Walter Winchell. Ava put her head in her hands. It'll be in every paper by tonight. What do I do? Call Frank, apologize. Maybe we can kill the story before it spreads. Ava called. Frank's phone rang, no answer. She called again, no answer. She called his manager. He's not taking calls. I need to talk to him. He doesn't want to talk to you. Please, tell him I'm sorry. Tell him I was drunk. Tell him, I'll tell him. But Ava, he's done. Whatever you two had, it's over. You made sure of that. The line went dead. The next day, the story was everywhere. Hedda Hopper's column. Ava Gardner's vicious attack on ex-husband Frank Sinatra at a Beverly Hills party has tongues wagging. The usually elegant Miss Gardner showed a side of herself Hollywood hasn't seen before, cruel, calculating, and vindictive. Poor Francis, already down on his luck, didn't deserve such public humiliation. Luella Parsons. One wonders what possessed Ava Gardner to destroy Frank Sinatra so publicly. Perhaps success has gone to her head. Perhaps she's forgotten that Hollywood forgives many things, but cruelty is not one of them. Walter Winchell. Frank Sinatra walked away from Ava Gardner's insults with more dignity than she showed delivering them. The question now is, will Hollywood remember? The tide was turning, not in Ava's favor. Frank never said a word publicly about that night. But things started happening. Small things. Quiet things. 3 weeks after the party, Ava was supposed to start filming The Barefoot Contessa with director Joseph Mankiewicz. The studio called. We're pushing the start date back 6 months. Why? Scheduling conflicts. It wasn't true. Frank had called Joseph Mankiewicz. They were friends. Joe, I'm not asking you to drop her. I'm just asking you to make her wait. For how long? Long enough to think about what she did. 6 months later, the film went forward, but Ava had lost momentum. In October 1953, MGM announced their slate of 1954 films. Ava was in 2 of them. By December, she was in 1. By February 1954, she was in none. Budget cuts, the studio said. But everyone knew. Frank had made calls, not threats, just conversations, with producers, with directors, with studio heads. I'm not saying don't work with her. I'm just saying I can't work with anyone who does, and I'm about to be very busy. Most people laughed it off. Frank Sinatra was finished. Washed up. Nobody. Why would they care about his opinion? But then something happened. March 1954. Frank Sinatra won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. From Here to Eternity. The performance that saved his career. The comeback nobody saw coming. Suddenly, Frank Sinatra wasn't washed up. He was hot again. The hottest actor in Hollywood. And every studio remembered the conversations he'd had. I can't work with anyone who works with Ava. It wasn't a threat then. Now it was a problem. Because everyone wanted to work with Frank. Between 1954 and 1956, Ava Gardner's career stalled. Not destroyed, but stalled. Good roles went to other actresses. Big budget films passed her by. She was still beautiful, still talented. But Hollywood had moved on. In 1956, Ava moved to Spain, left Hollywood entirely. She told friends, I can't work here anymore. Too many doors are closed. She didn't say Frank's name. She didn't have to. 8 years later. 1961. Ava was in Los Angeles for a brief visit. She called Frank's house. His assistant answered. Is Frank available? Who's calling? Ava Gardner. Long pause. Hold, please. Frank came to the phone. Ava. Francis, it's been a long time. 8 years. I wanted to talk to you. About what? About that night. The party. What I said. Silence. I was cruel, I was drunk, I was hurt. But none of that excuses it. I destroyed you in front of everyone who mattered. And I've regretted it every day since. Frank's voice was calm. You didn't destroy me. Francis, you tried, but you didn't succeed. I destroyed myself by caring what you thought, by letting you have that power over me. I'm sorry. I know. Can you forgive me? Long pause. I forgave you years ago, Ava. Holding on to anger would have destroyed me more than anything you said. Ava started crying. But you made sure I paid for it. No. I made sure people remembered that actions have consequences. There's a difference. You closed doors for me. You made calls. I had conversations with people I respect. I told them I couldn't work with anyone who worked with you. That was my choice. Their decisions were theirs. It's the same thing. No, it's not. I never told anyone not to hire you. I just told them I couldn't work with them if they did. I have that right. Just like you had the right to say what you said. Francis. But Ava, here's the thing. I didn't do it out of revenge. I did it because I needed distance. I needed to protect myself from you. From the pain of seeing you everywhere. Of hearing about your projects. Of being reminded of what we had and lost. His voice softened. I loved you more than I've ever loved anyone. And you broke me. Not with what you said at that party, but with how you made me feel every day of our marriage. Small, inadequate, not enough. Ava was sobbing now. I know I did. And I'm sorry. I was so focused on my career, on being my own person, that I forgot you needed me too. You didn't forget. You just didn't care. Silence. Then Ava spoke. Can we start over? No. Can we at least be friends? Frank thought about it. Maybe. Someday. But not now. Not yet. How long? I don't know. When it doesn't hurt anymore. Does it still hurt? Every day. He hung up. 20 years later, Ava Gardner was living in London, retired, reclusive. She gave a rare interview to Ladies' Home Journal in 1988. The interviewer asked about Frank. You were married to Frank Sinatra. There are stories about your relationship, about a party in 1953 where I know the story. Is it true? Ava looked out the window. Yes, it's true. I said terrible things, in public, to hurt him, because I was hurting and I wanted him to feel what I felt. Do you regret it? More than anything in my life, I destroyed the only man who ever really loved me. And I did it because I was too proud to admit I was wrong. Too scared to admit I needed him as much as he needed me. Did you ever reconcile? Not really. We talked a few times over the years, always polite, always distant. But the damage was done. I'd humiliated him when he was at his lowest. And he never forgot that. Did he forgive you? He said he did. But I don't think he ever really did. How could he? I showed the world his vulnerability. And for a man like Frank, vulnerability is unforgivable. Do you think he loved you until the end? Ava smiled, sad. I think he loved who I was, who we were together. But he hated what I did. And he made sure I understood that love without respect is just pain. 1991, 3 years before he retired. Frank was being interviewed by Barbara Walters. You've been married 4 times, but Ava Gardner is the one everyone remembers. Why? Frank thought about it. Because Ava was the love of my life, the one that mattered most, the one that hurt most. There's a famous story about her humiliating you at a party in 1953. Frank held up a hand. I don't talk about that. But I said I don't talk about it. Barbara pressed. But it changed everything between you. It changed your career, your relationship, everything. Frank stared at her. You want to know what that night taught me? Yes. It taught me that silence is more powerful than words. That walking away is more devastating than fighting back. That the worst thing you can do to someone who wants a reaction is give them nothing. So you never responded? Not publicly. But I made sure she understood that actions have consequences. Not through revenge, through distance, through choices, through living well. Did she ever apologize? Yes. Did you forgive her? I told her I did. But you didn't? Frank's eyes got hard. I forgave the words. I never forgave the intention. She wanted to destroy me in front of everyone I knew. And for a moment, she did. But I came back. I won an Oscar 16 months later. I rebuilt everything she tried to tear down. Do you still love her? Frank smiled. I'll always love her. But I'll never trust her again. And without trust, love is just memory. Ava Gardner humiliated Frank Sinatra at a Hollywood party in front of 150 people. She said things designed to destroy him. His masculinity, his career, his dignity. Frank didn't respond, didn't defend himself, didn't fight back. He just walked away. And in walking away, he did something more devastating than any comeback speech. He made his silence a weapon. Not through revenge, through distance, through choices, through rebuilding himself while she watched. 18 months later, he won an Oscar. Her career stalled. Not because he destroyed her, but because he removed himself from her orbit. And Hollywood chose him. That's not revenge. That's consequence. When Ava Gardner died in 1990, Frank Sinatra sent flowers to the funeral. The card read, "You were the greatest love of my life and the greatest pain. Rest now, Francis." He didn't attend. When asked why, he said, "Because I want to remember her the way she was before that night, before the hurt, before the words. I want to remember when it was good." "Can you?" Frank smiled, sad. "Not really, but I keep trying." Ava Gardner humiliated Frank Sinatra at a Hollywood party. Frank's silent response destroyed her. Not her career, her chance at reconciliation, her hope for forgiveness, her ability to undo what she'd done. Because sometimes the cruelest thing you can do to someone who hurt you is forgive them and then walk away forever.